morning, good afternoon, good evening, where this may find you in the world or in the universe, or wherever you and I'm at. What's going on? In the room with me today, if y'all don't know, we are doing a part two to women balancing it all. They somebody, they lit, they fire, they're amazing, they're off the chain, and they're doing their due diligence. Literally just overnight it's coming into work. It's a hustle. But with me in this morning, I have my homegirl Fatima from Fatima Fridays.
Hey.
It's a party. My girl Tanisha, how you living? And my homegirl Jazzy. She's just Jazzy called me this week. She's like, Frank? I said, yes. I got ideas. I said, yes, bring them.
Right.
Yes.
I'm glad that y'all was able to come for part two this morning and just dive into a more in-depth conversation, a greater dialogue, if I can say it like that. I hear things jingling in the background. There's another. I hear the sound. Is there one? There's one coming around. And
Hello.
greetings. How are you? Good. And my homegirl Chloe is walking in the door now. She's coming to take a seat. I was looking forward to not to delay because we don't have a long time today. I definitely want to dive into things before we get there. But how are you all doing? How's everything going in your work as of today?
Good. Busy.
Blessed.
But, blessed.
We
Absolutely.
live
We
Yes.
out here. We do what we do, right, ladies?
Amen.
My grandmother used to
busy.
say a woman's job is never done.
Okay. Absolutely.
For sure. And just shout out to my wife at this moment because she done got up this morning, got the kids ready, doing due diligence.
Absolutely.
Visual
She
support.
looked at it. You looked at him.
Yeah, absolutely. I came on board and was like,
Not the visual.
Tyra gonna get
support.
you. She gonna get you.
Doing so well. Those who are tapped in, please share
live?
and comment. Also know that you guys can call in at any moment as well. We're gonna dive into conversation on today. If I can go ahead and find my notes, do you know where everybody else is? Halfway prepared. But other words, I really want to dive into a great conversation today. And we just want to go right into it. We're not going to delay any further. How do you all navigate the challenges of social expectations and gender stereotypes that may affect the choices and decisions in balancing these different aspects of life? Long story short, how do you allow what we deal with right now with the defined roles that we try to project? How do you handle that as women today? Like, this is the role, this is the spot, or that's not it. Either or.
I would say with me personally, it was like trial and error, especially, having the alpha female kind of image, you know what I mean? Like I usually take care of everything on my own. So as far as when it comes to allowing a man in my space personally to do his dominancy role, it takes a lot of trust.
Yeah.
So with me, again, it was trial and error. It was a lot of failed relationships. I'm sure y'all know. But in those instances, it does humble you because then it's like, okay, well, maybe I should tone it down a bit and allow a man to play his position and his role instead of being so hands-on, especially if he's willing to do so. So, I'm softening up. I'm getting my soft girl, my air. So,
We ask the question because sometimes we don't talk about it necessarily always, but we try to do our due diligence. But you have been. Life has caused you to be independent. Unfortunately,
We have taught to be independent. Woman from day one, your parent, your mother mostly,
right.
teach you to handle your business
Yeah.
as a woman. Like I know my mother was never married, so she raised 2 children on her own, and she ain't play that. If it's something you wanted, you went out there and you got it. You did it. This is what it is. I remember, like, for instance, I was in high school, graduating from high school, going to college, and everybody was just. My guidance counselor was like, okay, take this home to your mother, have her fill out this information and bring it back. I filled out that information in the next class and brought it back.
Right.
It's just it's just what you do as a woman. But I grew up a little bit and I did learn that we don't always have to be in control.
Right.
And it is a very hard thing to lose some of that control.
Mhm.
Because you feel like, well, I'm gonna do it my way or the highway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is my this, or this is my house, and this is my car, and this is my life, and this
Right.
is my business, and these is my kids. So, and I'm talking about myself. And you know, so it is very hard to lose, or not to lose it, but to level off the control. Like I said, I was in a long-term relationship, but for most of that relationship, I was like that. Very controlling, very controlling the situation, the relationship. Oh, you ain't gonna do it my way. Oh, you sleeping on the couch. But I learned later on in life that, you know, he want to lead, he want to control, he wants to, you know, do some things too. And I did allow that to happen, but it wasn't easy.
For sure.
It was never easy for me to. I'm a control freak. I really am, and I try not to be, but it's you're groomed to be that way.
I think people and a lot of women, we're not, it's not that we are controlling, we're forced into the role
Mhm.
of handling everything. So when you're forced into the role, just like Jasmine said, it becomes a trust issue, because sometimes you try to let people have a little bit of that that moment, but then they disappoint you or they go
Mhm.
away.
Yeah.
So then you take back your control, and per se how she said it, but you take it back. But we're forced into the role, and it's like you don't really have a choice when you're we can't say, oh, only men have to take out the garbage when you don't have a man in the house and you're doing it, period. That's it. So then when you get a man and he takes out your garbage, you're looking like, what you do? Why you do that?
Mhm.
Oh, I could do that. And they're like, no, I got you. But then you're so used to, when men come around and they want to do for you, you're so used to being disappointed, not just by a man, but by people in general,
Mhm.
that you say, I don't need this. I got this, because I'm so used to having it. And when I do allow someone into that space, they let me down anyways. So let me just not continue to get spoiled or allow you to make me feel good and give that to you, because once I get comfortable, it's taken away. So I don't want to give up that moment. So it's we're forced into it's. I don't think the roles, man, guy, girl, who does it, because it shouldn't be like that. It was, I don't know if I said, it was a post and the woman was mowing the grass before her husband got off work. You don't know their situation, how long he been at work, and she wanted to mow the grass. I think it's therapeutic. But some men like, you're not gonna pick up the lawnmower. That's a man's thing, and I get it. But we've been forced so
Send
long.
him to my house. He can mow the grass any day.
but if something per se happened and you're in that position, like, well, I got you. It's like a man should have a woman should have his back also.
Yes, absolutely.
Hold on, caller, one moment. Hey, caller, you're on the air. Greetings. How are you?
I'm fine. My name is Derek Cole, and I had a comment about the situation about a man, the independent women.
Yeah.
I believe that it all stems back from the 70s, when they wouldn't allow men to actually be in the homes to assist the woman who end up having to raise the kids by themselves. And when in that case, now the parents are teaching their daughters not only to try to keep up the house, to learn how to do other things like take out the garbage and do other things around the house that a man's supposed to be there to do. And that's really just like a generational, almost a curse to a certain extent, if you ask me. I grew up, my mother raised me. She did it by herself, and that's how she showed my sister and me and how to take care of yourselves. And you got to rely on yourself and not anybody else when it comes to certain things and certain situations of business that has to be handled.
That's absolutely true.
You're correct.
But a woman raises a woman differently than she raises a man.
True.
She raises a man to be mostly most women to be a leader in the household, to be a provider. She raises a woman to be a helpmate to the man. So it's completely different.
I don't.
No,
I think it
no,
depends
no,
on the
no,
woman.
no, no,
I think
no,
they do.
because
I mean,
that ain't how it
treat-
went down. That ain't how it went down. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
well,
70s
they
kid.
teach us
You
how
know
to
what
be
I'm saying?
independent,
That ain't how
but
it
they
go down.
also
You learn everything. Men how to wash them dishes. You know what I'm saying? I had to wash dishes. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
When my nieces and them was born, I changed diapers.
Yeah, that's
I
something that's
fed
not.
babies. I did all this, and it ain't had to be. It's not. It ain't had nothing to do with my mama teach my sister this, and my mother would taught me and my brother that. No, she taught everything across the board.
Well, that's a good mama.
No.
That's a good mama, because every mama ain't like that.
Thank you for calling in.
All right.
Every mama ain't like that.
But you know what? To his point, prior to getting to those teachings, I think he's talking about the we got prison, we had
Yes.
the food stamp concept, which forced that man outside the home.
Right.
And then that woman had to also be, she had to become everything.
Everything.
So just on the wisdom of being a woman, and correct me if I'm wrong, I then teach. Oh yeah, y'all got to be independent. You have to know how to
But it's not
Yes.
even on the household. Honestly, blame it on the toy stores, because let's just get to a little deeper detail. When you go to the toy store, what is in the girls section? There's household supplies, cleaning, baby dolls. All there's no footballs. There's no beds. That's in the boys section. There's no cars. We don't. Oh, girls don't do this. So you can go as deep as to society all around. It's not even just a household thing. You really, women are taught to be just do this, this. They don't bring you. Men, y'all are in lucky in your own way. You get to play with a football from the moment you're born. If you're good at it, you make a career out of it. And not saying people can't make a career out of anything, but it's just we're taught from a child, from the littlest, they buy us baby dolls and carriages and dish sets and all these things.
That's true.
To just,
But
To
can
teach
I
us how to be
interject?
mothers.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're saying like at in the store in the toy section you'll see like the
Mhm.
girls
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the stuff. But if you're seeing now, like in 2023, I think from like maybe about 5 years ago,
It is
they're
changing.
starting to cross gender.
Oh, yeah.
Like
A lot of
advertise
different
it. So
things.
now they have the little boys in the kitchen. They have the girls doing more handy stuff on the Fisher Price boxes. So it's not even necessarily as if they're trying to keep the woman in the kitchen and
They're not
keep
now,
them there
as in
now
5
because
years,
right.
but it's going to take,
Mhm.
it takes time to transition.
Deprogram.
And
Yeah.
Right.
we're already in that era of
Yeah.
that's what they've taught us. That's what they did. Growing up, we got brand new baby dolls. Everything was so girly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it wasn't saying, oh, the girls didn't play. Oh no, you don't do that you don't do that. And it just at that point. So I definitely get the transition. I don't need to go to the toy store now. I'm glad.
Well, I'm raising independent young people. I'm raising my daughters to be independent, and I'm raising my son to be independent.
Right.
Everybody in my house need to know how to cook, wash their clothes. They need to know about hygiene. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
everybody in my house. We can't control what happened in the past. We know the traps that was set for us specifically. The welfare system. All that. But I know dudes that's on welfare now. You know what I'm saying? So we were having this conversation. The guys were talking about, oh, well, the women, y'all chose this. Listen, we all are responding to what happened. But guess what? We the women, when the men is killed in the war, we got to pick up the pieces and we got to move forward with the children. So yeah, the man was outside of the house because the welfare system came in and replaced him, with the food and the provision or whatever. But it wasn't my fault that happened. It wasn't the women's fault. It wasn't the men's fault. It was a plan. Like we were overthrown. We were defeated. You know what I mean? So in a war, that's what happens. So now we picking up the pieces from this war. There was a war on our community, a war in our hood and in our neighborhoods when the dope game and the drugs came in and all those things, And so now we are the ones that's picking up the pieces because it was revealed to us. We're able to look back and say, oh, so this is what happened versus those that was just in it when it was happening, because when in our grandmother in them generation, there was no such thing as a man being outside of the house and not being in the house with his kids. It was no such thing as a man not taking care of his children. Those kind of things really didn't exist because men were men and women were women, So something happened to us and we can't control that. So now what do? I ain't got time to be talking about and arguing about and debating about what, why, when, who. All I know is I have a son and I have daughters. That son has to be independent in this world, and my daughters have to be. I don't want my son to have to depend on a woman to do anything for him. I don't want my daughters to have to depend on a man to do anything for them. And I don't want them mating out of having fun and, just out having sex and, entertaining the opposite sex. I don't want them to do that. I want them to plan things. I want them to be wise. I want them to be independent and then find some independent adults that they can build a family with. Not to say that's what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? But whenever you look around, when you look around and you in the lion's den and your hand is in his mouth, you can't snatch it out. You got to ease your hand up out of his mouth, So I think that we in the Black community, we cry too much about what was and what happened. And if it was the man's fault and if it was the woman's fault, well, they threw us out the house and y'all this, but it didn't stop y'all from coming up in there because we still making babies with you. It didn't stop you. They might have thrown you out the house, baby. We wasn't making babies in car seats and.
I get that, and I think understanding why things happen has
is a big
value to them.
It is.
But
It does.
it's like, what are we doing now going forward?
What, right.
I think that's what's missing in the conversation.
Yeah.
If I can interject
Yeah, go
into
ahead.
that, I want to say that I'm so grateful for this age of kids that are growing up now, this age of young people. These indigo babies that we call them, who have totally turned their back for the most part on all the things that are constructive for our age. All of those things are kind of reevaluating now and trying to figure out how those things work for them. And it's been working. So we can't, look at things now the way that we looked at them then. A lot of our parents and grandparents, they didn't get married for love.
Right.
They got married for providing. They got married for structure. They got married for other reasons. Now these kids are like, listen, I'm independent. I can do this on my own. I'm not marrying because I need you to provide for me. I'm not marrying you because I need your name to give me validity so that I can own things or so that I can make moves that I need to do. I can do this part on my own. I'm now marrying for partnership. I'm marrying because I look at us, some of them may acknowledge the ideology of headship. Some of them may not. But I'm marrying you because you are the person that I necessarily want to be with, not because of this. They're not looking at it from the same places that we were looking at it from. We were looking at it for a lot of times providing and this and that and the needs aspect. They're not looking at it for that. So we have to, when we're directing them, give them that ability to be able to have that thought process and find their way to be able to do it. It may not look like what we look at. She might take out the trash. He might be the one washing the dishes and cleaning the clothes. He might be the one taking care of the kids. Hey, they might not have any kids. They may decide they don't want to do the traditional marriage thing. We really have to be more open to the different ideologies now because these young people are not us.
And they have access to way more information.
They
than
do,
what we had.
absolutely.
We didn't have access to all the things that they have now. If you tell them
Absolutely.
something, they go look up and get the facts and come back to you. Oh, mom, remember you said such. Okay, no, but see what happened was that idea came in the 18. I'm like, ooh,
My daughter do that all the time.
I think that,
Right.
as you were saying, that what works for us, we
Right.
talk about relationship and connection, works for us. Now, and I realize that, and I'll talk about it for a second, that sometimes trying to make everything so cookie cutter
Doesn't work.
fit. What works for my wife and I may not work for your spouse and your wife.
Right.
And then I want to get ahead of myself because I can. And the vision that we have requires a different level of work until we can get to it.
Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
example, I know I want to spoil my wife. Absolutely. But I'm $1 million short. So let's do what we got to do now as a team to get where we want to go so I can do it how I want to do it. But that's different in relationship. And we can't allow the social changes that happen really enter in or affect how we navigate our personal lives. I think that when we talk about the parents and we talk about what they taught us and the roles of being independent, it's great. But you got to figure out when to surrender, what you're gonna let go of when it comes down to the partnership that you're in going forward. That's just my little 2 cents.
I know that's right.
Partnership.
You said the key word,
Partnership.
Right. I had to say to a gentleman, and we were doing some business. I said, you know what? If I would have been a man telling you this, you would have never battled me on this. But because I'm a woman, I got to tell you this 2 and 3 times, And so as a woman out in the world and you're trying to do business, You're a mother, you have children now with me. I'm a single woman, but I had the help of my children's father in raising the children, whenever we split, So I didn't have a lot of the struggles that other women may have had. My life totally is not like a traditional woman. I don't really cook. I didn't really cook. Now, when I go in the kitchen, my kids be looking at me like, Mom, what you getting ready to do? I'm getting ready to go ahead and thaw some chicken out. And they're like, well, Dad was going to stop by. You know what I mean? So I've come to realize, guess what? Cooking is not
That's not your ministry,
but
right?
when other women would come around and see how at the time I had things structured, me and my man, we had things structured, they would want to try to give me the, oh, girl, well, you need to cook. And a man is this, and a man is that, baby, that's your story.
Right.
You the one got to be in there in the kitchen with that chicken, thawing it out and cooking it and all those things. See, I don't have to do that. I buy it, I go to the grocery store, I pick it up, and he fry it. And that's just the thing that we had to
worked
do
for
because,
y'all, right?
Because that's what it was in our partnership and in us raising our children. That worked for us, and the kids were small. So it allowed me to have the kind of freedoms that I could go out and I can do business. I can go out and do my shows and things because their dad, he was from Mississippi. See, I knew how to choose.
That's a different, right?
See, that Mississippi man. So he was raised up. Those guys in the South, they were raised, baby. They was raised and they had to get up with grandma and them and cook in the kitchen. So that's something that he was used to. It wasn't a problem for him. So it's all about what works for you, not what works for others. And you can't let others' opinions tap into your situation. And as women, sometimes we allow our single friends
to tell us what should work for us, or our mothers, our mothers and aunties.
And a lot of the time, it be them single aunties and single mothers. You know what I mean? And they will come in and they'll try to put their 3 and 4 cents.
Absolutely.
And,
Teach you how to lose a man real quick.
Teach you how to lose a man. Teach you how to lose a man.
Teach you how to lose a man real quick. So you have to be strong on your own. We were a different generation, and now we're birthing a different generation. And I think that we just have to realize that we're all transitioning. I have to get used to this young lady. When I look at my daughters and I see the freedom they have and how they be moving, girl, I'll be so proud. Like,
yes.
Wow. So it's like, okay, I did something right. Now you girls have the freedom that I wish I would have had at that age.
Absolutely.
And so I'm looking at them and I'm in awe. And I'm like, wow, in like 10 years, I can't wait to see what these girls are going to become,
I want to touch on something really quickly that Chloe said, and she slipped it in so quick that you could have probably missed it. She said, I'm a single mother, but I'm not a single parent. And I really need to touch on that, because that's major. And I think young women and young men in relationships tend to miss that. They miss that. There is a distinction between being a single mother and being a single parent. A single mother means I have children and I'm not in a relationship. A single parent is someone who is parenting alone. So although I may have been times that I was a single mother, as in not being in a relationship, my children's father was always present. They never needed someone to step in as a stepfather because their primary father was always there. So I may have been a single mother, but I was never a single parent. I never had to parent alone. And that's an important distinction to throw out there.
Now, and that has a lot. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm in a sturdy little situation. My question is taking that concept of I'm a single parent. I'm a single
Mother.
Mercy. I'm single.
Right, I'm single.
Right.
But the father is, what happens when you have a man that is present, but you still feel like a single parent?
Why? That happens a lot too.
It's like, because sometimes a man will tack himself onto a single mother and then become a child, just an additional child.
Right.
So it all depends
Absolutely.
on what kind of role he's entering into the situation as. If he's coming to be an extra set of hands and to provide some form of support in any way possible, whatever suits him, whatever he's good at, then so be it. That's one less thing that the woman has to do. But if you just sitting around and you're not doing anything and it's like, okay, well, I need you to do da-da-da-da-da, you're coming with a list of demands and a list of requests and stuff. You're just becoming an additional child. So it just all depends on what is his intentions on coming into the situation.
And knowing that in the beginning, y'all need to start having conversations and talk about more than just sex, more than just what you like in sex.
Right, but it depends on the woman, because some women just want the warm body next to them. They don't care.
That's true.
And some women just, no, you got to come in, you got to go hard with me. or just I don't want to take care of another kid. I got kids. It's a struggle.
No, wait, y'all
I'm
got.
tired.
Are we? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Are we saying? Are we? I got a little bit lost on what we're saying. Are we still talking about the single mother with the father? That
No, so
or
what we're talking about now is that
I got a little confused.
maybe she has a man in her life, right?
Right.
She's in a relationship, she has children,
Right.
But he's not being a father figure to the children.
Okay, we're talking about the new man. It's not
Yes.
the father figure to
Yes.
these children.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, with me, I call it the eye of the tiger.
Mm-hmm.
I put the eye of the tiger on them, baby. When they think they come and they want to come, oh, welcome to the Queen's Court. Because now we getting ready to put the court in session. We getting ready to do everything. So what I do is because I'm older now. When you get older, you ask a lot of questions because you value your peace. You
That's a
value all
fact.
the lessons. You value all the times you fell and got back up. You know what I'm saying? And so you start seeing things different. For me, I'm straight up with a man from the gate. I pay attention to what you're doing, not what you say you're doing. Not what you claim
What you
to do,
doing.
not what you claim to be, but I pay attention. For me, if you are not already a mentor, then you can't come into my world talking about no daddy. Now I might want to go out to eat with you sometime. I might love your conversation. But as far as coming into my life and meeting my children, see, at certain levels, when you get to a certain age,
They get to be uncles. They
Come
don't
on,
get to
listen.
be.
Yeah, now you might be uncle, but then you might not listen. You might not even get to be uncle.
You might
You might
even
just
meet
be
my
You may not
husband.
even meet, right. You might just be
You
home
might
and love
just be
friend,
my
right?
homeboy that I enjoy conversation
Yeah.
with you. We
Yeah.
hang out. Now I'm not, because see, this generation got it twisted about dating and they got it twisted about having sex.
Yeah.
We're not talking to see when you having sex, that's entering into the holy of holies. Most of them don't get to the gate. They don't even get
Right.
past the very first gate. Because now, as we were saying before, now you value yourself. Now you realize all the times you went wrong. Now you know you're slow in this area. So hopefully we don't normally repeat the same things,
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
cycle. So we have to do something different. So whereas as a young woman, the first thing I'm gonna see is how fine you are and what car you driving. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll talk from there. But as an older woman, if you're driving too many nice cars and I don't see no dirt or no sweat on you, you can't come around me anyway because I'm concerned about how you getting those nice cars. That might interfere with my peace of how you getting them. But baby, if you dirty and I just came from work, oh, you might can get into the Queen's Court.
Hey, Carl, you're there. You're on the air. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Go ahead and chime in.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
You go ahead and chime in. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll wait till the young lady's done talking and try to.
No, she done. You watching us. You know talk. It's a little delay. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Just I want to expound on what they're saying about men being like another child. You know what I mean? That sort of.
Good morning,
The
Victor.
woman sort of to blame for that as well because what they accept. A lot of women come into it because he's cute or something like that. You know, they don't look. They look more for looks or stability opposed to what they're looking for in a man and being upfront and honest with some of these dudes. I mean, I see it a lot. You know what I mean? And then a year, 2 months, 6 months, a year down the line, now he get me sick and he's getting on my nerves. But if you set the precedence early and you speak up early and you stick to your guns what you want early, you know, a lot of these men, they'll be held accountable for this stuff. You know what I mean?
Can I
Come on,
can I
chime on
in,
in.
please?
Yeah,
Please,
go ahead.
please. Okay, so a lot of the men who come into a situation, and I think that's, you know, human nature. People put on their best front for the first, like, what, 30 days? It used to be 90, but
You might get to
it used
30.
to be 90.
You
But
might
now
get
it's like nobody has that patience anymore to keep the front on. So yeah, a woman in this day and age, we usually do come to the table and say what we want and what our demands are and what we have going on because it's obvious, it's proof in the pudding, and you already know because clearly you're
you've been
interested.
looking.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you're interested, so you already know what I'm looking for, and then when the communication comes in, that's already verified. However, these men be putting a front up and saying that they're going to be able to live up to that standard, that they're going to be able to bring whatever to the table. So it's not that we keep our mouths closed, is that we're being misled with these gentlemen. No offense. So I'm just, you know, speaking back to the gentlemen, but you know, they're not always honest. And there's a lot of misleading. So
I'm not saying keep your mouth closed, but a lot of times because somebody
I didn't
looks
say
good
he kept their mouth
and because
closed.
somebody's looking for somebody, they accept what goes on and then they complain about it to their girlfriend opposed to talking to their mate about it or the person, the problem persists. And then before you know it, you got 2-3 kids by this man because one, either you think you could change him or two, you didn't speak up in the beginning and you wasn't
I wanna tap in.
honest with yourself about what you willing to accept. So this is what you, I hate to use the term, stuck with. I see it a lot. You know, people, and I know the law of attraction, I get that. You know what I mean? I understand that. But just because somebody's cute don't always make them a good fit for somebody or her a good fit for somebody. And a lot of times people look for their mates with their eyes and not with their hearts. Nobody's looking for a husband or wife. They're looking for eye candy or arm candy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
What day and age are we speaking on? This right now? Are we speaking on right now?
I wanna.
Please chime in.
All right, I wanna tap in on that because I know that Vic is still watching this. And hello, Vic. I want to tell you good morning. First of all, I know your voice. Secondarily, all right. So secondarily, I want to say, in regard to relationship, one of the biggest problems that we have is a lot of times it's not that we're leading with our heart or our eyes. It's that brokenness attracts brokenness, and sometimes we attract what we are in the minute. And at that moment, but you have to recognize that there are people who are striving every day to level up, and we're striving every day to elevate. And then when we elevate, we're looking at our partner, especially when you're female, who acknowledges headship, that if we're going to be partnered in this scenario, if we're going to be taking this walk together, I can't be on a constant drive to elevation while you're laying there comfortable in the situation where we are playing 2K or not really, or acknowledging the fact that, because a lot of times you got females that's go-getters. We're out there getting it from the dirt. We're not waiting for anybody to give it to us. So since we now have a generation of men who know that the women will go out there like the lioness that we are and go out there and get it, instead of them making the landscape right for us to be able to do that, instead of them helping to take some of the load off of our shoulders, instead of them doing the things to make the opportunities better for us collectively, they sit there and utilize all the assets without being able to, or without acknowledging the fact that they have to give some too, that they have to elevate too. They get accustomed to the fact of being acknowledged, because truth of the matter is, we don't like the word submit per se, but we will acknowledge instinctively when there is a man who is going to come in and take care of the business. Trust me, we don't want to carry the load. We want to say, "Whoo, baby, here, take some of this, take some of this." But when we see by your actions and your behavior that you can't handle it, when we see that we may have made a bad choice in our pain in that moment, instead of the fact of us choosing our mate or acknowledging or allowing someone in our life based on what we're going to be like when we're whole, we make those choices when we're broken. And then when we're whole again, we're looking at you and realizing that those spots that you were filling don't need to be filled by you anymore, because I'm healed now. So now it's time for you to heal, or it's time for us to separate. It ain't no harm in separation.
You got to go.
You know what? I totally agree with what she's saying, but let's
Victor, you can't call back now.
Michael, hold on just 1 minute. Hold on, caller. Go ahead.
As to what I was saying earlier, as we are strong women in this room, but just as many strong women, there are weaker women.
Yes.
So it's really about a woman and the choices she makes. And for whatever reason she makes the choice, sometimes it's a woman just wanting to say, I got a man.
Right.
Or he's fine, so I'll take him. Yeah. And they don't care. Every woman who has children is not meant to be a mother.
Not mother.
So she might not be concerned as to what he do for my children, because she might, I can do this, I can do that. I just got a man, and say I have a man. So it comes down to the woman in general too, because for every no good man, it's women out here who makes us look bad. Who, for the strong women, there is just as many women who makes it harder for us, because we do have standards.
They need to partner together.
Certain stuff, but then you have those women who take our standards when they joke about us and say, "Oh, get him a bundle," or $40 when they joke about it. But I can find men, you could get him a thing of Henny and a blunt, and they're gonna do the same thing some of these women are. They have no. I'm just being funny. Just as many women showing their bodies on the social media and say, "Oh, show your body." My DMs, I can ruin a lot of Valentine's days. Because it's men who don't value themselves Just like it's women, it's equal
Facts.
on both sides, and it depends on the person.
Now let me go ahead and give you yeah, so therefore, as men, we're gonna always put our best foot forward.
Mhm.
Number two,
Shoot your shot.
I mean, yeah.
And number two, and if you're a proper person, we've already watched you.
Mhm.
We done seen you before before we said you're,
Yeah.
oftentimes
Right.
we've already and we have, and so our approach is to cater to what we've seen you do and operate. But sometimes, let me just be honest with you, some men, not all men, there's men who are equipped and willing to handle it. But sometimes we don't know the depths of it until we get in it.
Right.
But the problem is now we're already in it.
See, that's
Right,
like
so
when
that's
you
like a secret.
go ahead.
We see y'all before y'all see us.
Yeah, we
Facts.
We
just
see
act
y'all.
like
We see you. We
Go
know
and give
we
it to 'em
peeped it
today.
all.
We already know if
We
we're gonna give you
see
something
you.
before the
We see
right.
you. And
Right.
sometimes I hate to put the woman's secret out here, y'all, on
Give a
live.
little bit.
But sometimes we know the moves before you even make it. Some of the moves we're allowing you to make because we know
We want to
what kind of
see.
preacher, and we want to see how far you're going to take it. We know the answer before we ask the question.
Because a lot of y'all men be saying
Come on now, you
that
tell me
women
the
be
truth.
wanting to control everything. So
Mhm.
now in this day and age, women, we sit back and be like, you know what? We don't want no control. A person's going to do
Control
it
it.
to allow them to.
Mhm.
So what I've been doing lately, I'll kick my feet up and I'll just watch you go ahead and your little
Hang
show
yourself.
and do
We'll watch
whatever.
y'all be
And
foolish.
then there's
with
no
you.
excuse whenever whatever happens.
When you
It's
say
not going to be like, oh, well, you pushed me to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, no,
It's
I
just a
allowed
little
you to
secret.
do
No, no,
This is
no,
a
no,
secret.
no,
I see
no,
it.
no,
Right.
I see your secret.
Right.
And what happens is that before we make any gestures, it's sometimes it's about she captured my attention.
Right.
Now I got to make the assessment, pursuer,
Mhm.
and figure out how am I going to approach this individual.
Mhm.
Because I'm just talking to myself, okay? I can't talk about anybody else. I say I'm a player, but they'll speak. Because I need to know the value of what I'm ready to approach, and how you present yourself will determine how I handle our conversation for the most part. For real, man, this is not my opinion. Is that before you try to get my signature, I had to find my own. Okay, she caught my attention, but because she caught my attention, I can't. This is just me. I'm not going to approach day one.
Mhm.
Who is she? How she move? How she operate? I'm just watching. I ain't say hi. I ain't say hello. You better catch me with the butterflies in my stomach. Okay. But what happens is but because I've done this, I know how to approach you properly. And I'm going to present my best foot forward.
But you know what? We see you watching.
We came outside to capture your attention.
I want that.
We see that creeping in my window,
I
observing
want
from
you to
afar.
see me, seeing you, seeing me, seeing you.
That's right. We
It's a
see.
game going back and forth.
Here's something that I want to add in. I want to add this in really quickly. What the problem is that we have a tendency to apply for positions that we're not qualified for. When we get on Indeed and we're looking for a real job, we're looking and we don't have the qualifications. If it's something that says doctorate degree and I know I don't have a doctorate degree, I'm gonna pass that job right on by. I'm not even gonna keep on reading it but then again, there's some folks that if the job really catches my eye, I might see what I need to do to level up to get the job. I'm not going to apply for a job that I know I don't have the qualifications for. It's so many people out there, men specifically, that deal with females who know that they don't have the qualifications, that they have not read the job description. They don't know what the roles and responsibilities are, but yet they're putting in applications and they're applying and they're taking up time and taking up space and opportunities, but they know they're not ready.
Right, what happens is y'all keep giving them the job.
Right, and we give the job because but wait a minute, if you apply for a position, when you apply for a position though, 9 times out of 10 in human resources, they're gonna say, okay, they done read the job description. They know exactly what it is that they're applying for. So there has to be some sense of acknowledgement that you're applying for the job because you feel that you have the ability to meet the requirements and responsibilities.
And then he comes along
And
and lie. The interview comes through.
Right, and fail the interview.
Because he ain't never did
But
half the stuff
right,
he
what
said.
happens is you
Ain't
go
been
on
on no
YouTube
cruise.
and got
Ain't built the car.
Right, got on YouTube.
No, because this is going to go over someone's head right now, what I'm going to say. Because I'm going to say, dear, you are right, so right. That is the point. But always remember, there's those people that make fake resumes, fake backgrounds,
That's it.
education. So they come in the loop sometimes.
They come in to devour. They come in to
Hey,
deceive.
Carl, you there?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Michael.
So, I want to piggyback off of something that was said a little while ago. About brokenness attracts brokenness.
Brokenness.
Yeah, that's what we're going back to that. You're right. Misery attracts misery. Brokenness attracts brokenness. Sometimes we get so busy looking at other people, thinking that will help us fix ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we want to deflect the attention off of ourselves, thinking if we deflect the attention off of ourselves, the problem with ourselves will be fixed. So we'll take the situation into a relationship, having the other person fix us while try to fix us while we try to fix the other person. What are we playing? Repairman for other people when we're supposed to be playing repairman for ourselves and allow God to fix us.
Very true.
Very true.
Very true.
Michael, thank you for giving us a call. I'm gonna do a few of these comments. They talking on
They talking, right?
Yeah.
I can't even
got
keep up.
paragraphs, right.
I can't
I
even
was
keep
trying
up.
to.
Where we gonna start that? I don't wanna go back too far. If I miss your comment, please forgive me. You got some comment that's pressing for you?
That's a lot. That's a lot. I'll let you.
Right, because Michael was giving it right then. I think people might have missed
I'm gonna
it.
go back to 9:59 a.m. Y'all can't go all the way back. Understand this, my beloved brothers and sisters. Let everyone be quick to hear and be careful and thoughtful listeners. Slow to speak and speak carefully, chosen words, and slow to anger. Be patient. That was James 1:19, and LaShanta said that. Tony said she ate that. Sharifa said good morning. Victor called in. I'm skipping you, Victor. Don't say that. Joseph said stop letting men move in. That's a red flag there.
That is.
And LaShanta just said, right, that's understood. The purpose of God. They laugh. LaShanta said, right, accept responsibility for your decisions you make and the actions you take. Xavier said, don't accept men unless they have a good head on their shoulders. Mike Palmer said he loves this. Be honest with yourself and about yourself. Now, I don't know how to say this name, Aretha. I'm going to use your last name.
Vidal,
thank you. I have been out of the dating game for over 20 years and now a widow for the last 6. And baby, the men these days are definitely different. And I'm just learning the game. Come on.
Definitely different. Lord, definitely.
Sharifa says people have to control themselves. If you're doing your part as a woman, a man does not have to attempt to try to control. It is not necessary. Tony said, yes, let me see what you're going to do. But there are some men who look for great women to help them get it together, with proper communication and guidance. If the man is right, he'll make those right moves. This is exactly. Anthony Gordon says, we men need to start paying attention to the women who we see in us instead of us using women we want. Facts. I missed that a little bit. 3%. She said peach. I think she meant preach. And Kelly said, get whatever job you want. Fair until you make it.
Fake
it until you make it.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I think sometimes people don't know themselves.
No, for sure.
People don't know themselves. And as you get older, you start learning things about yourself, maybe that you did not know. Now, the woman that I am today and the requirements I have today, I didn't have those 20 years ago, because 20 years ago, I was having children. So I had to look into different aspects in the dating game. Whereas now I have my children. I don't need no baby daddies because my children have relationships with their dads.
Right.
We got that. I got that covered. Thank you, God. So I don't necessarily need a man to come in and be a father to my kids, but you definitely got to be a mentor. You definitely got to be a quality brother. But guess what? I'm wise enough to pay attention to him and see if he already possesses those things before I even entertain him, So, and sometimes we make a mistake. We do. And sometimes we done made a mistake, and then you realize it as you get to, because one thing about it, spending time around a person and being around a person, you will find out who they are. And sometimes you can pull certain things out of each other that you didn't necessarily know was there. You know, like you said, broken people, you know what I mean? Broken people attract broken people. But what about when you're whole?
Right.
And
That's
you're
the thing.
right, you see, but when you become whole, it's a whole different ball game out
That's
here.
it.
So you can spot different things that's in that person that's broken within them. Then you got to understand, okay, well, here I am right here, but I see this in him. So now I got to weigh that. Is it worth me still dealing with this person, or how do I need to do? Can I handle this brokenness?
In that conversation, hold it's really two-sided because even as a man, I'm gonna be honest.
Come on,
Be
keep
honest,
it honest, bro.
I'm very, very honest, and please nobody take offense to this. We can identify things. As even as a man of God, I know when I'm married now, I love my wife, but there was a time I can walk past a woman and know, oh, this is gonna be an easy situation.
Yeah.
Because I'm aware of the broke. I can identify.
You can feel it.
Lust is here. Oh, and I can identify it. But that factor goes when we can identify the brokenness. We also can understand a woman who was whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be very 100%. The approach to a woman who was whole is totally different than one that is broken.
Yeah.
And vice versa, because you have to know really who you're. And I think that leads into the second part where there's a level of self-care that has to be
Absolutely
taken care of internally before we go to invite other people in. But like you said, life is real. Let's not pretend this fairy tale game. Life is real.
Right.
And people do get in. Yes, anyone want to chime in on?
Yeah. What I was gonna say is we do need to also pay attention to what we attract, because usually we're mirroring that. What I have been applying personally to my life is, what am I attracting? If it's something that I don't like in a person, clearly that's standing out enough that maybe that could be a possibility. I need to fix that within me too. You know what I mean?
I've heard, I'm sorry, not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've heard recently, you know how they always just say opposites attract. That's not necessarily the case.
Right.
No.
We attract what we see, what we've been through, what we see, our trauma, their trauma.
Yep.
A lot of times it's
Trauma bonding.
It's trauma bonding. Absolutely. I didn't know what the term was, but trauma bonding. And that right there. So we feed off each other, because I had a broken home, you had a broken home.
Mhm.
We feed off each other.
Right.
So then when we get in our home, we trying to make it unbroken.
Right.
But because we don't know what a healthy
We have no
home looks
capacity,
like,
right?
that home ain't healthy
You
either.
just basing it on things that y'all can relate to while y'all getting to know each other. Like, oh, I went through that. Oh, yeah, me too. And you know, y'all focus.
But then
on
we
that.
have to understand that's just a friend. We don't know where to place people.
Right.
Okay, that's just a friend. That, yeah, you've been through this, I've been through this. Me and you could be friends. You done had some things that's similar to the things I went through. You've had some traumas. You may have had some wins. You know, so we have to understand, just because you attract it doesn't mean that you have to become one with it. Again, we don't take enough time out to truly get to know people. And I can say that because I had a Marian spirit on me one time.
Yes.
I had a Marian spirit on me. Honey, I was getting ready to marry. It didn't even matter, you know, because I was trying, because in my mind, I'm a strong Christian woman. And I'm not getting ready to be laying up out
And
here.
that's what we were taught, that we got to be married.
So that's what I was taught. So when a man came to the table, if marriage wasn't in his cards, he had to get to stepping. But you would have to be careful, because you might see me in April and I might say, yeah, girl, we're dating. When the winter comes, those is hard months when you got a Marian spirit, because I done got married. It would be warm for the winter. Then by the time April come back, I start saying, you know what? I don't know if I did the right thing.
I wanna touch on Joseph on. Can you read the comment, please, sir? Because
watch out for the Marian spirit.
Joseph said two things. He said, why would a man choose that if he has his stuff together? He usually will have options of younger, fit, and more cooperative women.
Who said? Let me go to his profile.
Women love chaos.
All right, Kevin. Hold on. Can I get to Kevin real quick? Wait. I need to get to Mr. Kevin Samuel's comment real quick, because that's exactly what you're giving. Let me explain something to you, sir. First and foremost, you have to understand the caliber of woman that you're talking about. All women are not the same. We are not a monolith. There are some of us who are extremely healthy, who are extremely well, but what floats your boat and what gives you a meal don't necessarily make every man poop, bruh. There's some men out here who love a big chunky woman in the wintertime, summertime, all the time. There's some men out here that like thin women. There's men out here who will love a woman who has a house full of kids. There's men out here who will love a woman who can't have a child at all. So please speak to your personal experience and not to the general experience for all men, because you're not all men. On top of that, let me also establish to you that when you're talking about chaos, women don't want chaos. We want strength. We want strength in structure. We want to know that if the times get hard, that you are going to be able to be there and be a support and be an ally and be a covering for us if needed. But what we don't want is your foolishness, your ego, your control, your you making us submission. We don't want you to feel like you're going to put us in a box, clip our wings, and tell us what we can and cannot do, because that season of time is over with. That's not going to fly with a professional woman. That's not going to happen.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I'm offended.
Indeed.
Mr. Streeter, you did it.
For a second. Know the difference between a little girl, a young lady, and a grown woman. You gotta know the difference, because at the end of the day, you coming around. We grow. We grow. The stupid choices we make when we're young. We might have made the dumb choices to date a guy who think we like chaos because we're young and we grow. And as we grow, we might have been sleeping with Tom the stupid, and we wake up one morning and say, I'm above this now. I grow. So you're gonna have to pack your bags. You're gonna have to leave. It's a new thing going in my head. And we could be in that relationship that just ain't no good. And then we grew a little bit more than that. Say, hey, you know, I've outgrown you. Guess what? When I've outgrown you, I don't even look back at you. I don't look at it as a mistake. I look at it as I was growing, and in my growth with anything. When it's a song called Falling in Love with Jesus. Yeah. And it was the best thing I ever done. But understand, when a sinner comes into the church, they might not know nothing about God. They heard about him. They come into the church and they see these people living a life and say, this might be better. So you get into the church, you start to experience it, you start to study, and you start to know, and you falling in love little by little. That's not the mistake. You're growing with God. But don't come in here and talk about women love chaos. We don't love chaos. We just have our stupid moments as a little girl. Right. And then we grow into a young lady where we think we get smarter and smarter. And then we become that grown woman where we too smart. Right. Period.
Oh, y'all know too much.
He also said, start following the leadership. Well, you know what?
What leadership?
I was about to
what
say.
Leadership, brother? Look around the community.
If we had the right kind of leadership, it would be nothing for us to submit. Okay? That it wouldn't be a problem.
How old is this guy?
51. I already checked out his phone.
Oh Lord.
Checked it out.
Is he single?
Are you single?
Absolutely single.
Mr. Streeter, we might need you on this phone, Mr. Streeter, because you done messed up today, bro.
Right morning. Right.
Go ahead and speak your piece. Be respectful. Go ahead.
I'm definitely gonna be respectful, man. Listen,
Oh.
I try to hear what you guys are saying, so I'm gonna cut down the volume over here. But it's been a hot 9 minutes for me while I'm sitting back listening to you guys. So a couple of things. I know that the lady just she went in on the guy with the Michael Samuels type comment, whatever.
Kevin.
But let's we have to get some things established, right? Like first and foremost, she just said that all women aren't the same, right? Well, all men aren't the same. So
We agree. We know that.
That all men are, are this way versus that way. That's first and foremost. Like, secondly, I'm gonna go back to this lady, the other lady that made the comment about the job interviews. People taking jobs and not being really equipped to do the job. Every job in the world, right? Even in a relationship, right? You can be trained. You can be trained to do the particular position that you're there for. Like for me, in my case, I am what I'm called a serial dater. I've dated multiple women over my course of my lifetime, and I realize it's with purpose over time. Some I've been there for 5 years, some I've been there for 7 years, an extensive amount of times. I've dated women with children, people who were broke, You know what I mean? Different situations like that. And within the context of those relationships, what I found is this. I'm going to use this word. Most women that I have dated, right, are not really ready for a serious relationship when a man that's really truly serious it comes into play. So when we talk about what's going on in the world and there not being good leadership and not being good men out there, right? I just kind of feel like that might not be truthful or to 100%.
Right. Hold on. And maybe you're attracting women who are ready. Didn't you just state you're a serial dater? So it doesn't sound like you're ready
Yeah,
yet.
he contradicted because he said he had.
So you're attracting what they're putting out there.
That's not what he said. Go ahead, Carl.
When I use the word serial dater, I'm talking about, like, for me, I stay in long relationships for long periods of time. Not
Serial
that I'm dating.
monogamy.
When I'm dating people, I'm dating like that. I don't have no problem telling a girl I did this for a while at 1.2 during 2014. I'm dating women and I'm telling you, hey, listen, check this out. We're just dating. You're not my girl. You can sleep with whoever you want with. I'm gonna sleep with whatever I want with. We can do whatever. I need to date you for an entire year to figure out whether or not you are what I desire in my life as a whole. So that would be dating. So for me, I'm not unstable into anything that I want to do, right? I know exactly what I want to do when it comes down to dating women. Not girls like one of you guys has said. It's not. I'm looking for women, but there are women out there that are not looking to. They're just feeling around. They're trying to find the guy with the income that's willing to help them with their scenario, with their situation. They're not trying to be truthful. They're not. They're being disloyal, intentional, and things of that nature.
Well, you were saying
Thank you, Carl, for calling in.
Well, I know that he was saying something about Kevin Samuels, when he was talking about, I tend to attract younger women and more attractive and more shapely women. And that's when if you went into, there's women of different things. I don't understand where you're coming from because I'm 45 years old. And honestly speaking, I can't keep the 25 to 35-year-olds off of me. I can't keep them off me. But guess what? I'm a woman where you have to entertain me mentally before you can stimulate anything on me, So when you start talking about younger, I attract younger men. And now as an older woman, I'm more shapelier as an older woman, because when I was younger, I was very thin. But after having my children, I put on weight. So now I'm finer physically than I've ever been. But guess what? It's the mental that rules me. So I didn't get where you were coming from, because I know we had the Kevin Samuel thing going and brothers was running with the Kevin Samuel and sisters was having low self-esteem and feeling stressed out because what they say. That's why I mentioned before about the children. When I went back into the world, see, when I first got with my ex, I didn't plan on being with a man to divorce him and end up having kids. When we was having those babies, to me, this was our empire. And we was getting ready to be together forever. But guess what? Life happened. And I realized I was not going to be alone and he wasn't going to be alone. However, the one thing that never changes is my standards, who I am as a woman, what I want. A younger man, he might look good to the eye and he may have a couple extra strokes. But guess what? As an older woman, that's not enough for me. So I would be playing that young man. It would have to be a mature man. He would have to be an old soul in order to get with me. And he would go through the Queen's Court and he would get the DA, the district attorney, and the judge. And all of them are in me and my friends because I have certain levels. So when you start talking about younger and things like that, as an older woman, I've come into the world of dating the right way. When I was younger, I didn't know nothing. I was dumb. If a guy liked me and I liked him, I give him a chance. Next thing you know, we together and honey, we got children and we're mating. So at the age that I'm at now, see, I got wisdom now. I got knowledge. I got understanding. And so it's different for me now. And as a woman with children, when I went back into the game, I went back into the game of dating. And I say it's a game because it's definitely different now. I had been a wife for 20 years in 2 different relationships. So coming back into the world dating in this era, I had to step up my game on a lot of things. And I had to I let women know I have children. So it's a way that you got to carry yourself. My children are teenagers and they get ready to be out the house. So it's a little different for me. Younger women tend to let men into their homes too soon and when they have children because they do not know. So in my life, when I started dating again, I came back into the game the right way. You're not coming around my kids. You're not coming to my house. I don't need a daddy for the children. May need one for me. However, I'm not going to allow the things that people say stop me. I can't judge what every woman experiences. Me as a woman with 6 kids coming into the dating game, I'm dating more than my friends who don't have kids, more than my friends who have 1 or 2 kids. See, those rules that they live by and the Kevin Samuels and all that, I thank God that doesn't apply to me. But I will say, once I would tell my girlfriends, like, oh my God, I'm dating, and girl, we went here, they'd be like, well, do he know you got 6 kids? You the hater. So he might not ever even meet my 6 kids. This one, you understand what I'm saying? He might not even make it to uncle status. He may just be my homeboy, and that's what we figured out because I took the time to get to know him and to date him.
And that comes with maturity and with
Experience.
It does.
Experience.
You have to have grace.
Because we all make
We all make mistakes. We're learning.
Men make mistakes. A woman, when at a certain age, there are certain things that we just not gonna take.
Right.
It's growth.
It's growth.
Right.
And
Now watch that statement, because that same statement that you made, even as an adult male now. There's certain things that you shouldn't take. That I have my own standards.
Right.
You shouldn't demonize anybody for having their standards.
the only time we stop growing is when we die. If we stop growing and learning and adjusting, we have literally dead.
But it's some Walking Dead people.
That, I mean, and Walking Dead. I'm
right.
talking about the
Sis,
Walking Dead.
I done had times in my life where I was dead. I was just surviving. I was just cooking for the kids, doing this. I was
Walking
a robot.
Dead.
So yeah, you're right. The Walking
I don't
Dead.
remember which one y'all had said, but you're so right when it comes to like people. But you know, it's really a growth thing.
Mhm.
Like we grow, and you know, learning is a lifelong process.
It is.
You know, so it's going to constantly. We're constantly growing. We're constantly, and yes, you get lucky enough if you're blessed enough to find a person to grow with more. And you grow when you're in a relationship, you start to learn people, you grow together. You know their likes, their dislikes. That's how it becomes more peaceful. If you're sitting here like Frank, maybe you and your wife, you're like, I'm gonna shut up today because she's not in a good mood. You've grown to know her.
Right.
You know when to be quiet. You know when to say, hey, you need help, and you know when to say, I'm just going back into the other room without being seen. You just know that.
There's a couple things that I wanted to note on. One of the callers said there's always on the job training. All jobs are not the type of jobs that you can learn on the job. I would tell you that if I'm going to a hospital and the doctor is going to be operating on me, if he has not had the proper education and has not gone through the proper credentialing and did not have that prior, I don't want you to be in there working on me. I don't want the students. I don't want the students in there practicing on me. I want someone who has some value, who put some time in, who's seasoned in their practice before they. So be a seasoned man if you're going to be trying to talk to me. I don't need a dad. I had a very and have a very active father in my life. My father has always been present. So if your personality and your approach in dealing with me is coming to me as a father, I'm going to turn around from you because I don't need a daddy. What I'm looking for in this position in my life is partnership and being able to develop and build legacy and live on that legacy. And if that's not the mentality and that's not the place where you are, then I'm not the right female for you to be even trying to attempt to. I'm putting it on the table. I'm going to tell you from the beginning, these are my criteria. This is what I'm looking for. And if you're looking for something different, maybe we can continue to be friends. But as far as partnership and development before it gets to love, because love is a process. So before we even get to that point, I know where to categorize you at. Let's just be honest.
Now listen here, y'all. I love y'all so much.
But we got to go.
We got to go.
Listen, this is part 2, and I don't even tell y'all. We'll do another one at some point. But when I tell you that the conversation is proper, the engaging, the deposits, and as a man, like legit much respect to you ladies for being open, being honest, and being willing. Even shout to my boy Joe, who's at a fire. But long story short, it's a good conversation because sometimes there's a part of our life where we assume a thing. But then we have the real life conversation and diversity and perceptions. I want to give a shout out to you all. Thank you all for tapping in.
We love y'all.
Real quick, we got 30 seconds left. Any promotions y'all want to promote you got going on? Mention it now.
I do. I just dropped my promo yesterday for my music video.
Okay. Yes.
So it will be out on the 16th. which is next Monday. So y'all check it out. Y'all can hit the notification bell, and y'all be notified when it drops.
Absolutely.
Y'all know I'm always promoting the aquarium October 20th from 5:30 to 7:30. And Frank's is right there during that same time period, right after hours is yours. We are having a community Halloween event for the kids. It's going to be open to the public. It is absolutely free. We've got a bounce house. We've got the video gaming system. Game Heads United is going to be there. We've got a lot of different activities. It is free. Come out, bring your kids, bring your family, get dressed up, come hang with me. Let's do some Thriller because we're going to do a Thriller competition. We're just excited about the day and looking forward to the community being there with us.
And I just want to say thank you. Well, I just want to say, I was trying to get in real quick. I just want to say thank you to you, Frank, because you have given us an outlet, a safe space, a non-judgmental space, and you are a great leader here in our community. You know, we don't see a lot of men standing up and leading, and men get mad when we say that. I don't care. I'm the one to make you mad, baby. You know, so we need to see good Black brothers that are out here not to deceive, not to trick, not to be trying to sleep and run up in somebody's bed, but you a man of honor. And I want to always make sure that we let the world know that we know that, and for the world to get ready, because this ain't something that you just started. You know, you a quality brother. We thank God for you, your ministry, your mission, and Fire 716 Radio. And we're going to do all that we can to push this and make it happen.
Tap in, y'all. Tap in. Download the app.
Virginia, talk about it.
Okay, you know, I already have the Move project is going on through Strong Heart to Soul. It is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Just coming out and exercising. On Saturdays, we have the Zumba classes at 1 p.m. It's at the 66th Street Center here in Niagara Falls, New York. So come on out and move with us, and you know, hopefully we can get these summer bodies ready in the winter time.
Make sure you guys just support. We got a spooky game night happening here, 6 to 11. It's 18 and up. It's just gonna be games, fun, creative stuff. Just come in, take pictures, just have a good time. But listen, I'm truly asking you all to, if those that can give to the Cash App Fire 716 Radio, do so. The building got fees. You got to pay those fees, and just be real open. I have money coming in that didn't show up yet, and the rent is due. So you help a brother out.
Help a brother out. Tell him what the cash Drop the Cash App on there, bro.
$$ Fire 716 Radio. If you're doing PayPal, it is fire716radio@gmail.com. Appreciate the support. You'll see more of us. It's going down. Fire 716. I holler at y'all. Peace, love, soul, grease.
Peace, y'all.